Hello and welcome back to another episode of Nerd Soup. I am Aaron the Nerd Soup Monkey, along here with Beau and Teddy today to discuss WandaVision Episode 5. Title, please?
On a very special episode.
And it was a very special episode, because I guess we'll just get into it. That fucking ending. What? Why? How? I don't know.
Because they can and they did.
Yeah, answers we need that I'm sure we'll find, but that was a bit of a... It would have been more of a shock if I didn't see Evan Peters trending that morning, but...
Gotta stay off Twitter, man.
I really didn't put, like...
I learned my lesson last episode.
I'm like, he's probably doing something else.
There's no way.
Oh, yeah,
what are the odds?
See Patrick Stewart trending.
Yeah.
Ian McKellen trending. Wolverine trending.
That's a shock. We all know Disney bought Fox, and we always wondered how they're going to integrate the X-Men, and if they're going to recast, if they're going to use the same cast. This could just be like a little thing, but it is huge, especially on a Disney Plus show, to have like this integration with at least one of the X-Men characters with the established MCU.
Right, yeah. What this establishes is that those movies were happening in a multiverse. That there's a parallel universe out there where you can travel to the Fox-owned properties and those. And that's the thing. This doesn't mean that all those characters are coming back. It doesn't mean that they're going to use those X-Men. But
It's just now they can.
Right, they're showing us that the X-Men are coming.
Yeah.
Or they're here. And, at first I thought it could be Aaron Taylor Johnson, but then my mind started rolling, and I'm like, it's going to be Evan Peters, and it was Evan Peters. And, for me, he was the better Quicksilver out of the two. He's got that iconic scene in Days of Future Past, and he's a good actor. He's really good at playing quirky characters, so he fits right in to the sitcom model. When he sees Vision, he's like, who's the popsicle? Hilarious. Your mind is blown, and then it goes right. And that's what this episode did so well, man. The seamless transitions between the sci-fi, the sitcom setting, it was just all so natural. But yeah, that reveal.
I feel bad for Aaron Tyler Johnson.
Well, I've read that he got the boot.
He needs to get that money.
I read that he got
that
the
Marvel
boot
money,
from,
and Kevin Feige's cutting him off.
Yeah.
Well, he got the boot from Marvel MCU because Evan Peters was so established. So that's what I was reading on why he got the boot.
I don't know if
sucks
it's.
for him.
I think it's just it's a good way to blow the minds of fans.
But
It's a good way to bring in the X-Men. And they've been not foreshadowing, but they've talked about it a lot. The whole series is basically about Wanda's trauma and how she deals with it. More so Vision, but, she gets choked up and emotional when she thinks back to her brother in episode. She sends Monica Rambeau flying out when she mentions Pietro. So I think it's just a cool way to bring these worlds together.
I think the big question now is going to be, was it the snap that brought them, or is it Wanda bringing them back now, or bringing them into the universe? Like, I want to know why the X-Men are here now. And that's what this show is doing great, because answering questions and giving you more questions each episode as it ends.
Well, I saw something like the sitcom they were in was the 80s, and the last, I believe it was, Dark Phoenix? That was set in the 80s, and those are like the new characters, like the younger versions of these characters that they were doing in those movies. So maybe something lines up there. Maybe she, like, someone or Wanda has like a power that manifested this and wanted to bring back her Pietro, but it just got mixed up in the multiverse, and it brought back this Pietro. I don't know, man. It's crazy.
Well, it's because the alarm went off, like there was a breach of their kind of sword camp.
Right.
That there was a breach when Pietro showed up. So did he come from outside of the Hex, which they're calling it now, and then entered the Hex? And then we've seen this. When things enter the Hex, they change. It's like the sword agent who becomes a beekeeper. Mm-hmm. And Wanda has shown in this world that she's not creating things from scratch. And Monica Rambeau talks about her outfit, that it's now completely made of Kevlar, this 1970s casual outfit. The material was changed. And also her x-rays, how her x-rays don't come back. So if you know, you know. Maybe something was changed with Monica as well. So, maybe it was Aaron Taylor Johnson. Well, she even talks about this in this episode, that she can't resurrect things. But
that didn't make sense to me, because she resurrected Vision. That's why. That's where I got
different.
lost.
He's
Is
half
it?
machine.
I guess.
They even talked about, I guess Thanos.
He needs the Mind Stone, though.
It wasn't the most gentle way of removing that stone, obviously. But I think there's precedent for that in the comics, that he comes back all grayed out. But the resurrection, like I said, and she's created life. But those twins were created by her powers. It wasn't a resurrection. The character of Agnes, every decision she makes we have to start believing that there's an end game to
Yeah.
everything she does. And I still think
I don't know.
that there's a villain underneath the surface, because even Wanda, she may be manipulating a lot of this, but she seems to be kind of also confused. And she's certainly confused by Evan Peters showing up.
Yeah.
So now she's just as confused as everyone else. This is not something that she did. I think we could take that for a fact.
But she's not confused with Agnes. And Agnes seems to have, I think she broke her mind control. And now she's just going along with the ride because she knows that if she pisses Wanda off, that it's going to be lights out for her.
Well, I wonder if...
Because Herb is the same way, too. So there are people within this town that know what's happening. And Wanda just seems to let them go.
Well, that's the thing. Agnes is definitely not... She's not on the board. People have been pointing that out. So they haven't identified her. And even in this episode, when she kind of breaks character, I think Wanda's being duped here. She probably thinks that Agnes is under her control. Look how powerful I am, you know? She's even breaking character, but still staying within character. So, I mean, Agnes is like when the dog died. She's just in her azalea bushes. She's like, oh, sorry, your dead dog died. Does this remind you of anything? Does this conjure up any feelings? Is there anything you want to do about this? She even mentions, oh, you can resurrect people? I've also thought maybe the villain's coming from the other side. Maybe the villain's coming from the X-Men universe, and they're kind of infiltrating our universe, sensing this sort of this power that Wanda is wielding, that there's an opening here.
Maybe. I don't know. I think that they're obviously setting up Wanda as a villain, I guess, in a sense. Like, we've seen the way just what they figured out about what she's doing to these people, and the way she interacted with Sword there at the end. She's not being the best.
That was
Avenger.
a gangster ass walk, man.
Yeah.
When she came out of the hex dragging that drone.
And she
talk
turned the
about
guns on him.
Past trauma, you know, where they talked about how her parents were killed from a Stark drone, and then she walks outside of her own home with her kids, and they see a drone flying above them. And it's very relatable that her true accent came out when she was pissed off. That's like me when somebody pisses me off, I become Bagel Boss guy.
Yeah.
Hey, fuck you, motherfucker. She couldn't hide it.
No.
But she was fucking terrifying, man.
I know, she was. She's not doing the...
Bro, those eyes and that drone footage. It's not the kind of heat you want.
No.
That's what I love.
I thought
that
she was about to
reference,
let
bro.
loose on those guns, man.
I love that reference when Monica was like she was gonna put Thanos on a skillet until we turned the ship on him.
Well, they basically came to the conclusion in this episode that she's stronger than Thanos. So your point about her being the villain in this show, what if she is the villain moving forward? What if she is the Phase 4 villain? I think that would be a bold direction to go, where you kind of have your Joker origin story done in such a... Yeah, I was going to tweet the other day, the line, "You took everything from me," is starting to hit harder with each passing episode.
I think I agree with what you said. I think she's being duped by a villain. His name's Mephisto, what I've been reading up on, and that he wants to use her to travel through different universes. And that's his way of getting away from when he's about to lose, because he ultimately loses. And that's his way of getting out of wherever he is to change universes. And I think he wants to get Wanda on his good side, so he's helping her do all this.
Right, giving her everything that she wants. Because she talks
wants
about
kids,
that. What could you give me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't need therapy. I just want this weird, fucked up sitcom life.
Yeah. There was a lot that happened in this episode.
But she's like going through the effort to like roll credits, to have the laugh track. Like she's really going for it. She's losing her fucking
mind.
And
the episode, dude. And walk away. That's a way of getting away with it.
Right, yeah. And those scenes were so creepy, man. Paul Bettany in this episode, I thought it was the best that he's been.
Yeah, I was going to say, other than like obviously the surprising moments, my favorite scene is when they're going at it. And they're both just fantastic in that scene. And, you know, from his perspective, he doesn't remember anything.
Yeah,
also, Baby Vision. Oof, that's going to haunt me in my dreams.
Yeah.
I love that opening credit, that opening scroll. Like the theme song.
The theme
so
songs
funny.
have been so good with each different era. They've been catchy, they've been well written, and yeah, Baby Vision, so creepy.
But that scene, and also when he's talking to Norm and he kind of breaks him out of the mind control.
Scary. Upsetting.
Yeah. These people are in pain, you know. Wanda's not being great right now.
Well, so are they conscious of what's happening and they know they're being mind controlled? Is that what's happening?
I feel like
and
it's kind of like,
well,
like in Get Out, you know, how like they're there, but they're not like present. But they can kind of still experience everything. Maybe it's something like that, where they're kind of stuck. I don't know, like where their consciousness is
Monica
getting
says
tortured.
That she just remembers pain, the feeling of drowning, the feeling of grief. So it's not only that you don't have control of your mind, you're also experiencing what Wanda's experiencing, when she's using this power. And Monica is a character who kind of comes to her defense saying she's not a terrorist, there's no political angle here, because she can relate to what she's going through. Obviously, Monica is handling it a bit better than Wanda is. But maybe if she had that power, it's like Daenerys, you know? Like, if you're up there, you can't really know what you would do until you have it.
That's what's scary about Vision now is you know how strong Vision is, and when he's mentally stable, you know, his mind's in the right place. But now that he's finding out that he's being manipulated, that's the one thing he didn't want, is to be manipulated. He wanted to make his own decisions, and now Wanda's doing that for him. He even says that, you can't make decisions for me, or you can't think for me.
Right, yeah, that he can break out. Well, she says, can't I? So we're going to see, I mean, she threw him into the fucking core of the earth in Civil War.
Yeah.
And he did walk out of that without a scratch. But no, that was an interesting point where we see her breaking into the sword facility, stealing his dead corpse, weekend at Bernie's.
I feel like, imagining her, like, they just, like, the funeral ends for Stark, and she's just like, all right, I'm going to go get Vision now.
Yeah, time to do my thing. And, yeah, Vision's last dying wish, or part of his living will, was that he didn't want to be resurrected and used as a weapon. So like you said, it's not only that he's being controlled, he doesn't know who he is, but once he finds out the truth, he's going to be even more pissed because he didn't want this. So, yeah, that was a great scene, man, when they both start flying.
I want to take a nod at the writer, Jack Schaefer. She is 5 for 5 so far. And like you said earlier, this is just a seamless production right now. The way they're integrating everything and they're answering questions, like I said earlier. And that was the one thing that people were worried about with this show, is that can it survive a week-to-week drop? And if it would have been better for a full drop. It's doing better as the weeks are going on, which...
Right, and it's so easy to just rely on the surrealism and kind of half-ass the comedy, but the comedy has been so well in the sitcom settings. And those kind of breaks from this surrealist reality are becoming more and more disturbing. Like, they were disturbing in the first couple of episodes, but now when you just look at the fear on Paul Bettany's face, he's just fucking lost, man.
There really isn't any more comedy. It's few and far between, and it is hitting when it happens.
Right. Like, Vision working at the I guess it is the 80s.
Yeah.
With those computers, and, oh, it's almost like you could speak their language. Ha, ha, ha.
Yeah.
Those little lines have been funny. But, yeah, no, it's starting to just become disturbing. More and more disturbing.
I think the most fascinating part about this is Darcy and Sword is dissecting the show as we're dissecting the show.
Right.
It's such a unique way of going at this episode. And like they're writing down the questions that we're all asking on the board, on that whiteboard.
Yeah, those three characters have been so good, man. Them playing detective, trying to figure everything out.
Darcy's taking a step up, man. She's getting better
definitely. And the character of Monica Rambeau is she's been really impressive this season. And I think she hints at Reed Richards. I think she mentions Reed Richards when they talk about infiltrating the Hex and what they would need. That she says that she knows an aerospace engineer that would be perfect for the job. That would be...
That's a...
yeah.
Bringing in everyone,
right?
man.
Yeah. They said that... Yeah, imagine they bring in X-Men and Fantastic Four at WandaVision.
Well, that would be
the weirdest show that the weirdest thing they've done in the whole MCU.
Right. It's the perfect
how many episodes are left?
Because you can
4?
create...
Bro, there's so much to do in 4 episodes, and I think they are
getting longer.
I have no worries that they're gonna fail at this. I think they're gonna do this perfectly. With so much to do in 4 more episodes.
Well, they also said too last episode that like.
Well, I think Doctor Strange has got to show up too, man.
Yeah,
Captain Marvel has to show up.
He's
No,
gonna come in,
there's so much.
Fucking hands.
Yeah, he's gonna.
I want to see.
Let me
thing,
take care of this real quick. You
Yeah.
would think that's a perfect way to lead into the multiverse of madness. Scarlet Witch has to be on his radar. Like, obviously, she's an ally when they're fighting against Thanos, but you would think Strange would keep her on the list. Like, this is a person to monitor just in case she ever does snap. Then I might have to show up and do my TikTok dances and get her the fuck out of, help her out of this situation.
Does Wong have to show up too? Is that his name?
He ain't showing up. That motherfucker
That's his boy,
can't
man.
be bothered with anything. So
That's Rocket and Groot right there.
I'll just stay here. I'll order in. That's who?
That's Rocket and Groot, man.
They are big too, man. They did such a good job of reimagining Wong. But I think Strange might show up, man. I think Reed Richards. I think the Magnetos.
But who's gonna be Reed Richards? They casted him already. John Krasinski's just gonna come out of fucking.
Give me John
thin air?
Krasinski. I'll take all that.
They've done a really good job, Disney, of hiding these appearances.
Until they trend the day before.
Well, we didn't see any. Like, usually what happens in the past is we get set photos. It's like John Krasinski's on the set of WandaVision. Okay, he's Reed Richards.
That's like it just happened with they said Defoe has been spotted at Spider-Man 3.
Right, exactly. But what if, they say, oh, Mr. Richards, Dr. Richards is here to see you, and it's John David Washington.
I mean, yeah, that'd be dope as hell, but like, I don't. It's actually no. I was gonna say like I don't expect it because we didn't hear anything, but
Yeah,
it's possible.
Yeah, come on, man. With this show,
everything gets broken nowadays, and I guess Evan Peters in it. So
Luke Skywalker didn't.
no, that's easy to CGI. Like you're not gonna see Mark Hamill on set.
So that Evan Peters was CGI. No, he wasn't. It was just Evan Peters. Now, what's going on with the no kids in Westview? Because I think we pointed that out on a couple of reviews.
So did Vision.
Yeah, Vision pointed that out, and someone was saying Wanda can't create something from nothing. So maybe she used all the kids from Westview to create and manifest her brother.
Because the kids are, but the kids are hers though.
Yeah, she's.
But
super,
they're also
like
set photos of Vision running around in an old school Vision costume on Halloween with kids.
Yeah, maybe she's like, oh fuck, maybe I forgot to add him. But it's like,
yeah, she takes what Vision said now and
just GTA, no kids.
It's just like she can't.
Right, yeah, she's just all of a sudden there's kids everywhere.
Yeah.
She's like not that evil at this point, and I don't think she's evil. I still think she's a good character. I'll give her the benefit of the doubt because it is Wanda, and we've seen her through all these years, and she's going through it right now. She's down bad, as the kids say. So I really don't know. I don't know if the kids are real. I guess they are, but
I think they are real.
The way they age up is fucking weird.
Well, they say that they are.
Talk about not having a childhood.
Well, it's always they age up, like she says, to avoid a problem. Every time that there's a problem, the kids show up. Or every time there's a break in reality, something happens with the kids. Vision is starting to realize that maybe it's not everything as it seems, and the kids are 5. Vision, once again, is frustrated with Wanda using her powers in front of Agnes. The kids are 10. And then the dog dies, and the kids try and age again, and Wanda's like, no, stop. So that's interesting. I mean, they're leaving us all these little breadcrumbs, and it's been so difficult, or it is difficult now to kind of put the full picture together because of what happens at the end, because that just makes anything possible with the multiverse now. But yeah, and it's becoming a trend these days with TV shows and movies where they just combined every genre. It's just a little bit of everything. This has drama, romance, sci-fi, fantasy, and it just all blends seamlessly. You know, even like a movie that just won Best Picture at the Oscars, Parasite. That's what people praise Parasite for doing, being able to combine genres. And that's difficult, man. You can really have problems with the tone, man. Inconsistent tone that just throws people off, and they haven't thrown me off once. I mean, the editing, the transitions have been perfect. Like the edit when Agnes is like, I hope the dog doesn't grow. Woof, woof. Right back to Jimmy Woo and Sword's compound. It's just perfect, the pacing for this season so far. So just from an artistic standpoint, the way that they're executing it, you know, forgetting about all the questions and the discussions we can have, it's just a good show.
Yeah, it is. And you're right. A lot of the things like the editing and the way they transition from different aspect ratios and modern film techniques when they switch it up and when they go from the sitcom to that break into like they start to break their reality and the camera changes. Like it's very particular, a lot of the things they're doing. And it just looks incredible too. I mean, that's another thing coming into this. We knew that Disney was going to put a lot of money into these shows, so they were going to get movie type budgets, and it definitely shows. Because
it's the perfect type of show to do that because the sets are so small, and you can go cinematic when you kind of when you bring the story out of Westview. But like Vision's makeup looks great. He looks like movie Vision. So like you said, they'll go that route of spending a lot, but it's a show where you can keep it small but still use that cinematic flavor here and there.
It really is only 2 sets. It's Westview and Sword Facility.
Right, yeah,
That's crazy.
Yeah. And the sets look great, man. The sitcom sets, they look like a real sitcom. And like I said, the opening themes
do we know what show?
So well crafted.
Do we know what show was this one? Because I thought they refrained from telling us what each show was going to be based off of because it was going to lead to some answers, and I thought it was like Full House. I don't know when Full House was. I think was Full House late 90s or early 90s?
90s.
Yeah.
Like the Michael J. Fox one. What was that one called? Family Ties.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, Michael J. Fox was the biggest star in the world.
Family Matters kind of had that one too.
Yeah. So I mean, the 80s hairdo.
Yep.
The 80s outfits. So
she looks good.
She's unbelievable.
She is.
I've had so many people message me and be like, dude, I didn't know Elizabeth Olsen was like this.
Yeah, she's gorgeous.
I think we all, well, not that, her talent.
No, I was saying she's gorgeous.
But I think we've all known because we've seen her in other projects, but she can act her ass off, man.
Mm-hmm.
She's not just Scarlet Witch. She's doing everything in this show. Like
Yeah,
when
she's
she's
been-
scolding the
I mean,
kids.
Wind
like-
River, she was fantastic in.
right.
I mean, she's been in other things that she's been good in, but yeah, especially that scene with Vision and the scene with when she confronts Sword she's fantastic. I don't know. I'm looking forward to seeing what
This-
comes next. I there's so many questions now with that ending that it's hard not to be excited about what's coming. So, I mean, it's something we talked about for years. How are they going to get the X-Men into the MCU? How are they going to
Yeah.
get Fantastic Four into the MCU?
You would think doing that would be so abrupt and like,
Right.
you know,
But it works.
yeah, they're
Yeah.
like they're doing it so perfectly.
It's so abrupt. It's just he shows up at the door and
How can you do it? There's so much.
Well,
How
it's
do you do it? And they're doing it
so
right now.
The show's so weird that, and like the situation is so different that you can pretty much do anything right now.
They're not
Right.
only setting up Phase 4 though; they're setting up the rest of the MCU moving forward.
they're setting up right now for like the next 15 years.
Yeah,
Because you have to think with the X-Men, they're gonna want to cast them young.
this is
You
how you
don't wanna
start
go
Doctor
the-
Strange. You're setting up Doctor Strange. You're setting up Spider-Man.
There's so much.
There's so much to unpack.
I
man.
am so excited for these next 4 episodes,
Yeah.
dude. Because it's like we're gonna see a whole 30-minute episode of Evan Peters in the MCU.
Well, I think
And
that
it just changes everything.
Before, when I was talking about Mephisto is a Doctor Strange villain too.
Yeah, and he's kind of just their interpretation of the devil.
Right.
Yeah. And I think that this kind of confirms for me that Doctor Strange is going to be, or that movie at least, is going to be the catalyst for bringing the X-Men in, because all the buzz around this show is that it's going to directly tie into Doctor Strange. And this is, I think, something like this could be that tie-in, where the where Doctor Strange does go into the multiverse, and we know that the Fox universe exists in the multiverse now.
I want to know is Mephisto a big bad? Is he a Thanos? I want to know who the next villain is. If there is going to be a bigger villain, like they did with Thanos.
Yeah, this may be the way to introduce it. Kind of like they did with Thanos in Avengers. It was the 4th movie, but this is, I guess, the 2nd production of Phase 4 after Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And, like we said, it can go into Doctor Strange. It can go into Spider-Man as well. So whoever may be pulling the strings in WandaVision could possibly be pulling the strings in Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness and in the Spider-Man movie.
I'll be
And
upset
then
if they
in the
make her a bad.
If they make her bad.
Yeah, I'll be upset.
I think that's bold storytelling.
Yeah.
I think
It's different.
it's precedent in the comics that not only just Wanda, a lot of the mutants, they're complex characters.
You really don't see that in the MCU because these people do have superpowers, and like you see in the mutants where they can't handle it, and it's too much for them.
Right, and we're also seeing that that's a good point, because we're seeing the way that Sword is, you would think, the good guys, right?
Yeah.
Monitoring the situation, but what are the implications for the rest of the world when one of your heroes loses it or is starting to become more mentally unstable? How
That's
does
what
the world
she's
react? Right? Can Hayward afford? I mean, they call Hayward a dick in this episode, and he was being kind of a dick when giving the rundown of Wanda's biography. But hey,
He's right. He's
if
got a
Wanda
point, man.
snaps, yeah, what if she accidentally blows up a continent? And it's just like, Hayward, you should have been more understanding.
Rainbow probably added more fuel to Hayward, saying that she was about to beat Thanos. It's like, oh shit, she's like that.
And then, do you think Captain Marvel shows up too?
There's too much
second
hinting to
time
not
we've
bring her
mentioned
in.
her.
There's too much nodding at her to not bring her in. I don't know. I thought that's what was
They
gonna
all
get the
just
door.
fucking show up.
Dude, imagine. Imagine she does it's not them though. It's like alternate versions of them.
Right, like Tom Cruise Iron Man.
Dude, that would be so fucking funny. But not even I guess Cap can come back. Tony's dead.
Yeah.
But maybe
With the white hair, I kind of thought it was Cap too. With the white hair, I was like, that old Cap coming to spit some gains.
Joe Biden.
That's what Spider-Verse did, though. They just had a different Spider-Man that you would never think. They just picked Spider-Man.
Right, yeah. But that's why I'm just so excited for these last 4 episodes.
If these 4 episodes wrap up nicely, as I think they will, I think this is better than Mandalorian.
This could possibly be the best thing the MCU has done.
Yeah.
If they tie a nice little bow on it. It's going to be difficult because it's gotten stranger and stranger. Up until this point, they've done a good job, but
Like the implications this has for just not even like the future, but just for like the past 10 years of investment. It's something big happening in the universe that we've been following for so long. So
And
It's
this
finally
is
happening.
The advantage of television is you're just expecting when you're watching
Exactly.
an MCU movie that a serious moment is going to be undercut by a joke, There are going to be the certain elements that are always present. But they've kind of pushed some of those elements aside to go a little bit stranger, to go a little bit weird. And that's the advantage of TV, is that you know your audience is going to watch no matter what. Because it's on your TV, all you have to do is click a button. You don't have to drive to the theater. You know, if WandaVision was a movie and critics were saying this is so different, it's not like your typical MCU movie, people are like, I don't want to go and fucking see that. But now you're trapping people, almost like Wanda is, with Disney Plus, saying, hey, settle in because we're going to go a little bit strange here. And I've heard people messaging me saying, hey, I don't like this. What the fuck are they doing? And I'm like,
just let it happen.
Yeah.
Well, that goes to my point earlier, is that would this show have benefited from a full drop?
I like the wait. It's fun.
I'm on my seat, man. Every Friday.
You know, you don't have to worry about someone being ahead of you, or you're not caught up at a certain point, or you have to watch it all in one day, or you're going to be out of the loop. It's here Friday morning.
Yeah.
You get a chance to watch it, then you can talk about it.
It's only 25 minutes, man. There's so much happening in 25 minutes. It's crazy.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see where they go next week, and, you know, like we've all said, I think that we just want to see everything play out the way whatever they have in mind, whatever Feige thought up under that baseball cap of his. I want to experience it.
Who's next, Magneto?
Yeah, Michael Fassbender shows up. I'll shit my pants.
Please. I mean, he needs it. I would love to see Ian. I think both of them might show up.
And we'll be back next week, so be sure to like and subscribe for more WandaVision content and we do other things here too. Attack on Titan next week?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. We got some more MCU stuff coming out, some Star Wars. Soup's hot.
Well, would you look at that? It's finally over. Hey guys, Beau Oliver here for one final send-off. Now, before I beg you guys to like and share this video, I'd like to thank our very special Patreon pledgers. We are very proud of the community we've been able to build here at NerdSoup, and it would not have been possible without our Patreon supporters. You guys are the true MVPs of this channel. Everything I've said, you keep the fridge full, you keep the lights on. There aren't enough words to thank you guys, but we'll do it anyway. Thank you. And we have a few videos coming up that have been suggested to us by Patreon pledgers. My Hero Academia, Neon Genesis Evangelion, and Full Metal Alchemist will be reviewed by Marissa, and yours truly, and Castlevania, which will be reviewed by Marissa and Aaron. And if you'd like to consider donating to our Patreon page, you can visit patreon.com/nerdsoup and check out some of the rewards we offer to our listeners. And really, we'd like to thank everyone who takes the time out of their day to watch our videos. Patreon pledger or not, your support is what keeps us motivated to keep giving the world our opinions on movies and TV shows and video games and pop culture, even though no one asked for it. We're still here, we're still yapping, and we hope you continue to join us. I'm Beau Oliver, and I support this message.